Where they'll be like, you're big for nothing, or you're good for nothing. I'm like, oh, I'm not big for you. I'm big for me.
Have you ever felt like you didn't fit in? Or maybe that you had to go down a certain route just to get people to like you? Well, if so, you are going to love today's guest because he took that philosophy and pretty much kicked it to the curb. He is known best for his breakout role as Michael Ohre in The Blind Side.
He's been enrolled in 7 different institutions. His grade point average begins with 0.
It's mine?
Yes, sir.
Never had one before.
What, a room to yourself?
I'm dead.
Please welcome my good friend, Quinton Aaron. Hello, Quinton. Thank you. Yeah, and the crowd goes wild.
Oh, okay.
So I know that a lot has happened since The Blind Side, but I want to know, right before the role, you were kind of in a place where you didn't know, kind of literally where you were going to live, possibly.
Yeah.
What was going on?
Me and my brother were still in the same apartment, but without lights, without hot water, without food and money, and I was just back and forth in court trying to prolong us from getting evicted. That call just came through and changed everything.
I mean, absolutely, right? And
Yeah.
it took you, from the time that you auditioned, like a year, right?
The first time I auditioned for it was October of 2007. The time I actually got the role was January of 2009. Once you audition, to forget about the audition, you know, just don't worry about it because it will worry you to death. You'll end up in an early grave.
So what were you doing for work before The Blind Side?
I was on security on TV sets. Actually, when I got the call for the movie, I was working at Silver Cup Studios, which is in Queens, where they shoot 30 Rock. My manager called me, Quinton, remember that movie you auditioned for about a year ago? And I was like, Blind Side. They want to know, do you still want the role? And I was like, yeah. Like, I don't know if I was supposed to say something else, but yeah. It kind of like came out like a scream. It was an embarrassing scream, and Tina Fey was walking towards me and kind of heard that, and was like, what?
So when you were growing up, I mean, you're 6'8", right? You're
Yeah.
a big guy. Did you feel like you always were supposed to be in sports?
Sports was something that I never really wanted to do because people wouldn't shut up about it. It was coaches chasing me, family telling me, everybody saying this, everybody saying that. My mom was the only person saying, you do what you want to do. And, you know, nothing else matters.
You were quoted as saying one kid said, I was good for nothing and big for nothing. And I'm sure you're not the only person that maybe feels like sometime in their life, you know, someone has said something about how they look or who they are.
If you can learn at the end of the day, words don't hurt you. Like, you're big for nothing, or you're good for nothing. I'm like, oh, I'm not big for you. I'm big for me. Or, you know, I'm big because God made me this way. I'm this way for a reason.
Quinton, how do you feel about the epidemic of bullying and all the bullying that's going on right now?
It's really a problem that starts and has to be stopped at home. As a spokesperson for anti-bullying, you have to tell them, you know, talk to someone, because no matter what you say out your mouth to me, if I know it's not true, I'm not gonna go home and want to kill myself for it. A lot of times kids do it because of the lack of attention they get at home.
You lost your mom 4 months before you got the role. Was that a big impact on you? Was that a tough transition?
She was my best friend. My mom was my best friend. All the sicknesses my mom had, everything she was going through, she was suffering from congestive heart failure. She had obstructive sleep apnea. She had a trach in her throat. Her legs were deteriorating, her liver was failing. She was in so much pain on a day-to-day basis that when things happen, no matter good or bad, I tend to look at why. Physically, she would not have been able to enjoy it with me. That's what I had to come to terms with, to accept her, you know, being where she is now.
What do you think would have happened if you didn't get the role?
After losing her, it's like, if I wasn't the person that she raised me to be, or the man that I am today, I probably wouldn't be here.
Even though Quinton lost his mother, it was almost like he got 2 new ones.
I was nervous literally until the family came to set, And when I met Leanne for the first time, she was in a room talking with the producer. As soon as I walked in the room, she's talking and she like looks over and she like pushes them out the way, like, move, watch out. Jumps out the chair, ran over and gave me a big hug. She was like, oh my baby. It was, you know how you just like.
Right.
Only other time I felt that feeling was the first time I met Sandra Bullock.
Okay, which I want to talk about.
You hear me, bitch?
No, you hear me, bitch. You threaten my son. You threaten me.
What was it like working with her?
Funny on set, on camera. She always had this upbeat, positive energy, humbled and down to earth. And to see someone that established be that way lets me know that I don't have to change who I am.
Mm-hmm.
This team is your family, Michael. You have to protect them from those guys, okay? When you look at him, you think of me. Are you going to protect the family, Michael?
Yes, ma'am.
The Blind Side is one of those movies that whether you watch it now or you watch it 20 years from now, it's going to have the same meaning. It's going to be inspirational for years to come. What does that mean to you, and how do you feel being a part of such a movie like that?
That feels awesome because it's like a lot of famous actors are remembered for that one role. To be a character like Michael Ohre, the role for me was one that can inspire a lot of youth because there's not many films out there doing that. And seeing movies like The Blind Side is letting them know, in spite of their current situation, no matter how bad it seems, things can always turn around for the positive.
Thanks so much for watching this Inspired Living interview. If you want more inspiration, just head over to inspiredliving.tv. Quinton, thank you so much for being such an inspiration and sharing your story today. I'm going to let you go ahead and roll us out.
Dream it, live it, be it.
Listen to the man.
Honey, you're changing that boy's life. No. He's changing mine.